Well, 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 well. Hello, 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 and welcome to Zobiba Publish TV. I tried to record this, and I did, and somebody decided to mess with it. It was not a normal thing, but guess what? We'll just keep doing it again. Just moving on. So, welcome to Zobiba Global TV. My name is Yvette Johnston, published author, publisher, and the host of this program. We Publish is really the program. We Publish TV, right? But this is as a matter of publishing. We've been doing this topic for a while, as a matter of publishing. And like I said, it's just part one that I'm redoing because there was some intervention that was not a divine intervention. Like that. All right. So after a short break, I am back with more of what we air on this program. We talk about writing, publishing, storytelling, journaling, decision making, and much more. So today I'd like to tell you about my story because today is storytelling day. So today I'd like to tell you about my story of how I became a published author, right? And in part two, it is about how I became a publisher. Okay, so today I'm telling you about how I became a published author. So, firstly, it's the story of authorship. I know people don't like me to talk about it, but it's not their story. And so I just need all the stumbling blocks to be moved out of the way. I was rear-ended in a motor vehicle accident on my way to work on August 17th, 2009. Okay? So that's 2009. All right. Ontario. And I ended up, like I said, I was rear-ended. So I ended up with a rotator cuff tear in my right shoulder. I experienced severe pain until it became loss of feeling in my arm, the whole arm. Okay? My left hand compensated for my right hand, and I wrote my first book by instructions. I wrote my first book, and the first book is entitled Poetic Masterpiece, Volume 1. I wrote that with my left hand. I began writing Poetic Masterpiece Volume 2 with my left hand, and by miraculous healing, I was able to finish Volume 2 with my right hand. It's amazing how people don't like when you tell your story. But the amazing thing is, it's amazing when they don't like you to tell your story. But the more amazing thing is, it's my story. It is my story that actually gave me the opportunity to mentor 50 PhDs. We did not even start as mentoring. Basically, what I was doing was I was basically telling them my story. Like I said, I met Dr. D at the University of Windsor. He allowed me to write his speech for PhD graduation. He was the speaker at the graduation. I wrote his speech. Then it was just after the pandemic. Then I ended up writing 4 speech after that for him. Everybody had COVID. It was not a bad thing. So there was my exercise of writing speech, PhD speech for I've written speech for myself where I was, speaker at graduation or a speaker at different functions. I am I am a speaker. I've spoken at so many different on so many different occasions. So the amazing thing was he allowed me to write his speech, which a lot of people would not have done. You see? So you'd never know sometimes when there is someone who is there to bring your breakthrough for you, right? So that you can do what you're told to do because there are always stumbling blocks in your way. That's exactly what happened before when I was recording this part the first time. There was a stumbling block, right? He said, remove the stumbling blocks out of the way of my people. Remove the obstacles. There are always people who are just touting and just prowling, just to get into your stuff. And they don't have any business getting up into people's stuff. But those people would not have been the ones to get me to the position where I could actually speak to 50 PhDs. 50 PhDs wanted to hear this story because of the speech that I wrote for the graduation. I want to say I'm so grateful to those 50 PhDs. Because of them, I got to tell my story when a whole lot of people didn't want to listen because they were looking at me as a disabled person. I am healed. I'm walking without pain in my body, in my right mind. I can lift my arm as far as I can, as trust me, as far as an arm could be lifted, which a whole lot of people still can't even do. But yet, they don't want me to tell my story. It's not your story. It's my story for his glory. Good. So, yes, it is as a matter of publishing. But if my story doesn't get out there, people won't know that, yes, she came from somewhere. Because people see me now and they're like, oh, your glow up looks good and your transformation looks good and whatever it is. But they don't even know what I was transformed from. So why would you be afraid to tell your story? And that's what's going to help somebody else to get to the next level. I've seen transformation in the PhDs that we got from 50 PhDs, 50. From 50 PhDs, thank you. I got somebody in my corner. From 50 PhDs, right, to 70,000 PhDs in 3 years. Never seen, never heard of. That is historic. But it's funny that when you have a story and you have a good story is a transformational story, a story that will transform people's lives. And that story transforms so many people's lives. Would people be showing up if their lives weren't being transformed? No, they wouldn't. There would be no reason for them. Do you think they transform people's lives? They need transformation themselves. They're getting it, but they need it. So they can't transform anybody's lives. A jealous person cannot transform people's lives. An envious person, a covetous person cannot transform people's lives. No, they can't. But a lot of people, they want you to stop doing what you're told to do, and they're not the ones who told you to do it. They're doing what they're they're trying to stop you from doing what they know they can't do. They don't have the capacity to. They don't have the experience to. They don't. But people like to try to prevent you from doing what you're told to do. Good. Move the stumbling blocks out of the way. All the stumbling blocks. I'm commanding the stumbling blocks to be moved. Enough. So here I am as a published author. What did I do? I created workshops to transform transform people's lives, and I realized that it was happening because one of the workshop that I created was from there to here. So I was basically telling the story of how I was transformed from being not a published author to a published author, and and how I had a rotator cuff tear, but I used my left hand to write. Because of that, I was accepted in fourth year publishing and editing at the University of Windsor in Windsor, Ontario. People have a problem when you talk about the people who God uses to help you to get to the next level. And the whole point is we should mention them because if they were not available to do so without the recommendation of other people who wanted to intervene, if these people were not available and if they didn't do what they did, I would not have had so much experience that I can actually sit down and talk to you now about publishing and editing. So, because I wrote the first book that a whole lot of people despise because I tell the truth in the story. In the book, there are stories that I wrote. The poems were for my therapy. Psychologists could not therapeutize me. Psychiatrists couldn't. It was done by me doing it for myself. You see, that's the problem with a whole lot of people. They're waiting for someone else to take them out of the gutter. When they put themselves in the gutter, they can't get out by themselves because they went too far, too deep in. What's your story? Some people don't have a story, but then they envy you for your story. They're the ones who put you through stuff. They caused me to have a concussion. And here I am with my good brain. I'm writing, and they're still out of their mind. Still out of their minds. But I'm writing. I'm publishing. And they're trying to block up and trying to become a barrier in front of what I'm doing. You know? What would I say to them? Get a life. Go find something else to do and leave me alone. Let me survive. You've blocked me up for long enough. They caused me to have a concussion after a motor vehicle accident. And you want to hear another part of this story? I got to push this part in. Marvin Winans stand up on the platform and claim when I said it, I wanted to make sure that I give proof that they have listening device and camera in the car. And I spoke it out in the car. And he said, God will do whatever he needs to do to get you. I said, listen to this fool, because how are you going to get me? How are you going to get me where you want me? I have control over myself. And I do have control over my story. So if you allow manipulative people to come and tell you when you can tell your story from when you can't tell your story, you have to create your own platform. You have to create your own audience. You have to create your own atmosphere, your own environment to tell your story. Because these people don't want you to tell your story. No, they want you to sit there damned. And you can't tell your story. But I can tell my story because I can lift my hand as far as I want to. I can bend my back as much as I want to. I can jump as high as I want to. I can stand as long as I want to. I can run as far as I want to. And I can. But see, people wouldn't want me to tell my story. That's why they didn't get the permission or the authority to give me the permission. See, I was recording the thing the first time and somebody messed with it. It's not their business, but they just love to get into your stuff. My stories are always interesting. I was telling someone my story the other day at this university, and she said, "Oh my God, I love your story, girl. Wow, what a story." And so, because of that, I can ask her for anything. She gives me help. And I said to myself, I said, "Look at that. I just told my story. That's all I did. I just told my story." What's your story? What's your story of transformation? How can you transform somebody's life by your story? You're a witch or a warlock, you can't do anything. You're a sorcerer, you have nothing to transform your life or anybody's life. But guess what? The healing took place in my body. I'm quite fine. I realized people were trying to transfer into other people through other people to get to me. They're trying pain in my body. Well, guess what? It's a part of my story. I send it right back to them, so that they will know that, listen, I'm doing what I was told to do. You're not doing what you were told to do. Because I don't know who told you to do what you're doing, right? Trying to see if you can pull away my energy, which I'm not handing over to anybody. But when I think of it, when I realized it was the 17th of August on Sunday, it hit me so hard. I said, the 17th of August, that was when the accident took place. But that was when I created my first corporation for skills, leadership skills training and development. And all I get is fights, just fights, 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 because people are trying to build. They want me not to be able to build my business, but they want to build a church that nobody's going to go sit in. And then, the worst thing about it is they want my 70,000 PhDs to come sit with them. I'm sure I know that's what they want. And the books that they thought I was not capable of writing and I've written that made me a published author, they basically want me to come, bring your books with you, bring your songs with you. Why am I going to do that when they put me through whatever? They would not even listen to my story. I wonder why they're listening now. I don't know. I don't try to figure that out. That's an energy drainer, but it's not educational. It's amazing when people can put us through stuff in life and don't know. They give us a story and then they want to come and test. After you've been through test after test after test, somebody else still wants to come and give you a test. How foolish. They want to give you a test. This is as a matter of publishing. But listen, I said a part of it is we're telling our stories. And I'm telling my story of how they try to block me up, right? Try to prevent me from publishing my books. I said, if I don't do it one way, it will get done another way. And they're not going to stop me from writing. So if they think they can stop me one way, I'll find another way. Whatever tactics they come with, trust me, I can find two to block them up. Because nobody has the right to tell you you can't be a published author. I said I met a professor at University of Windsor, and he looked at me and told me, "You're black. Why are you a publisher? You're black." Why are you a published author? A published author. You're black. Why are you a published author? You're a woman. So I'm not entitled to have equity or equality. I'm not entitled to be who I am supposed to be based on people's consorted version of who they think people are supposed to be. So it's amazing. See, he didn't think that I was qualified to be an author when I came into the school. I went into the school being an author, being a published author. But see, on the other hand, someone who teaches that same subject, right? Or subjects like publishing and editing, appreciated what I did and then put me in fourth year publishing and editing at University of Windsor. And I got to work with him. His name is Marty Gervais. I don't care what people want to say. Got to work with him as an editorial assistant. All the lies that people told that I didn't work as an editorial assistant, well, the proof is there at University of Windsor. I worked as an editorial assistant with Marty Gervais. He's a publisher, author, poet laureate. If you walk into Windsor, Ontario, and you say Marty Gervais, people know who he is. So I give praise to my creator for sending me to go find that gentleman who's someone when I did a book signing at Chapters Bookstore in Windsor. Someone working in the bookstore said to me, "Have you met Marty Gervais?" I said, "No." He said, "You should go meet him." I'm glad I did. It was a twist of things that allowed me to meet him. And he could not believe when he saw what I wrote with my left hand. People in church don't even believe it. Pastors don't even believe it. Trust me, they don't. So guess what happened? It was not for them. So your story is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Your story is for the people who need it. If they don't need your story, don't give it to them because you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your atmosphere, you're wasting the presence that supports you when you're telling your story. So I realize that everybody doesn't need everything from you. Some people, they like to steal it. They don't like to just get it. They don't like it. They don't like they don't like when you serve them something on a plate or on a platter. They like when they steal it because when they steal it, it feels better to them. Those are people without ethics. They're unethical. Because of their unethical behavior, they don't know how to receive anything good or to present anything that's of value. So here I am as a published author. I won't say how many books I have done now, but they should have never messed with me because the more they messed with me, the more book titles they gave me. And let me tell you something. I spent 2 nights, no sleep, just writing. And what I wrote in one night, 6 chapters in one night, I didn't do in 2 weeks when I was staying at a certain place and under pressure. So I had to free myself. Whether they thought they freed me or not, no. I took my hand out of the lion's mouth just in time so the lion didn't get to bite. Because then I probably would have to start acting like the beast. But I'm glad that I got to the point where now the people who refused me, you know what? Now I give thanks for them because at least I get to do it myself and I can teach other people how to do it. Okay? It is as a matter of publishing. And I am so glad that I get the opportunity to redo my part one. So when you're ready, please let me know how I can help you with your publishing journey, but at the same time, writing. I'm helping people now at this point in time to write because people came to me and asked me, "Oh, the librarian told us that you're a published author. Can you help me with this and can you help me with that?" Woo. Well, you should never have messed with me, devils. And see what happened? Good. It's going to work out some way. It's going to work out somehow. I got to showcase my books. I don't have them with me, but I got to showcase my books. So I'm getting opportunities that people didn't expect that I would get. Next time, be careful who you mess with. Okay? So I got to edit someone's book the other day. Mm. So let me know how I can help you with your journey, right? To accomplish your desire to be a published author, right? With Zobiba Global Publication. At Zobiba Publish TV, I give you bits and pieces of the publishing journey, the writing journey, whatever journey it is that you need to get on and finish on the right track. Okay? Don't let the train run you over. You know who the trains are? The trains are considered the people who envy you for what you do that they can't do. They want to try to run you over. Don't let them run you over. So again, it's just as a matter of publishing. This was my story of how I became a published author, right? It's from a rear-ended motor vehicle accident, but now I'm healed, I'm good, and nobody can tell me anything at this point in time because I know who I am. Okay? All right. So it was good to be able to release this information for the storytelling series. Okay, the storytelling series. Again, as a host of the program, I'm honored to do what I do. More is coming. Stay tuned for the next time, and we'll see you again as a matter of publishing with Zobiba Publish TV. Have a great and wonderful day. Remember, we publish your way. Goodbye for now.